Well, it is 9 p.m. East African time from wherever you're watching us. Good evening. My name is Mboya and welcome to live from Broadcasting House right here in the capital city, Nairobi, Kenya. Let's begin this live broadcast with a look at our top stories.
Number one, kama nunua na sio correct, huyo mkulima lazima akuwe compensated, apatiwe fertilizer ingine free of charge. Na tatu. Ama tulikubaliana namna gani? Si mambo ni matatu. Wakora wajipange.
Warning to sellers of fake fertilizer as Agriculture CS tells Parliament there is no fake fertilizer subsidy program.
Our message today is permanent and pensionable terms.
Medics working in the Universal Health Coverage Program, going doctors and other health workers strike. DJ Mfalme, 5 co-accused discharged the case of DCI officer Felix Kelian. Welcome, sir. Anne Wangeshi is our coming a little later on to bring us the day sports, our socials at KBC Channel 1. Let's open this live broadcast with our lead. William Ruto says that government will deal firmly with those undermining the food production program by selling fake fertilizer to farmers. A visit to the NCPB Eldoret depot, where he pledged to push for the reduction of fertilizer prices so as to make farming more. As Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mitika Nturi assures the public that there is no fake fertilizer that is being under the government's subsidy program.
President William Ruto has instructed the management of the National Cereals and branches nationwide to accelerate the distribution of subsidized fertilizer. Ruto, who's to visit to the NCPB Eldoret depot, weighed in on the raging issues about the fake fertilizer, stern warning to those involved.
Number one, kama kuna fertilizer mkulima amenunua na sio correct, huyo mkulima lazima akuwe compensated, apatiwe fertilizer ingine free of charge. Wote mambo yao ni matatu. Ama tulikubaliana namna gani? Si mambo ni matatu. Wakora wajipange.
The president to fertilizer to farmers across the country
who bought certified seeds.
Meanwhile, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mitika Nturi says there were bags of fertilizers that were flagged for not having met the required standards.
So I am seeing this bag here. So if this is or the certificates you have from KEBS, looking at it, I am telling you this is not the fertilizer, is not within the fertilizer subsidy program that I am running.
Now, when you look at this product, this is a product which was seized, the 6,552 bags. Now, this product is a company called SBL.
Appearing before the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock, the CS said the fertilizer to the requisite standard was not in distribution.
I want to assure the farmers we have good fertilizer that we are distributing is okay.
At least 8 senior officials at the Kenya Bureau of Standards KEBS have been suspended over the fake fertilizer fiasco. Some distributors have recorded statements at the DCI.
We will be able to raise this matter, and I'm even told, as we sit here, that fellow is at the DCI and doing statements. I probably will the correct evidence.
This comes as Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mitika Nturi has stated that they're expecting another consignment of fertilizer into the country Abdiaziz Ashim for Prime Edition.
Well, from that, we move on to the striking update. Susan Thuku is our sign language interpreter for this bulletin. Of course, Anne Wangeshi was there earlier on at 7. Now, the health crisis deepened Monday. The Universal Health Coverage Program joined the hundreds of striking doctors and clinical officers to agitate for permanent and pensionable terms. Streets of Nairobi disrupting the flow of traffic in some parts of CBD. Their attempts to present a petition to the Council of Governors and the salaries and remuneration not materialize. This comes as Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni called on them to first return to work so as to pay. Joseph Wahungu with the details as the doctors' strike now enters week 4.
The Central Business District in Nairobi, the medics ditched their white coats and scrubs for placards and remuneration. The latest to join the strike being the over 8,500 health workers employed under the UHC program.
Our message today is UHC is permanent and pensionable terms.
Whose strike began last week also remained on the street for the second week with no sign of a let-up.
Na tunaomba suluhu kwa sababu kama rais hata na aweze kurekebisha sekta ya afya, basi sekta ya afya itaporomoka.
The court gave an order. First, the Council of Governors, they went to court. We obeyed the court order to go back to work. But when the court said they come to the table, they ignored. So we are here to tell them we have come to join in their strike.
Biomedical engineers issued a one-week strike notice. The union wants the government to implement its 2022 CBA, among other demands.
And fair treatment of biomedical engineers of Kenya and other healthcare workers. 3, improved work. 4, internship posting to biomedical engineers.
It is now a game of wait and see who will blink first, asking medics to resume work.
The government has already released 2.4 billion to take care of their issues. Enough, as they are saying. But why do you stay in the streets instead of coming to the table? 4 billion is not enough.
For Prime Edition, I'm Joseph Wahungu.
Of course, we'll be following that story for you. Disc jockey Munoru, alias DJ Joe Mfame, and 5 others have been cleared and turned into state witness in the murder of attached to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. However, the Director of Public Prosecution, Benson Mulele, has recommended that Alan Ochieng, alias Hype Balo, to be charged with the murder of Kiambu at Kiambu Law Courts. Ruth Wamboi with the details.
Monday was the luck of the Irish for DJ John Falme, Eric Kariuki, Simon Wambugu, Khadija Abdi Kerubo at Kibera Law Court after the Director of Public Prosecution, Renson Mulele, for prosecution witnesses.
The DPP has directed that they be utilized as prosecution witness murder charge.
Why didn't they introduce here?
When the matter came up to confirm the progress of the investigations after the 14 days lapse, informed Principal Magistrate Margaret Murage that the first suspect, Alan Ochieng, has a case to answer.
Should be presented for taking of plea, having been charged with the offense of murder.
In court, as well as a response from the respondents. So we are done with this file. We are functus official.
Ochieng, who was not present Monday, will continue to be the guest of the state at Kiambu Police Station until next week Tuesday, when at Kiambu High Court.
Violating people's rights to personal liberty for 14 days. These people have been kept from their children. Their reputations have been damaged. Out there, they've been projected as murderers. This is wrong.
Barlow was characterized as a bouncer. Therefore, at that particular time when we saw that, we raised an issue that when you characterize bouncer, then definitely you've already skewed the investigation that you do.
The suspect is Officer Felix Kelian attached to Kabete after their cars were involved in an accident at Kikuyu sub-county on 6. After 14 days of incarceration, DJ John Falme and 5 others have been discharged, even as the office of murder charges against Alan Ocheng alias Hype Balo. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Kibe.
Now, a Nairobi Labour Court has declined to stop the ongoing interviews for High Court judges, saying that there is no proof. This commission commenced the process in a manner that contravened the Constitution. Justice Brian Ongaya, while dismissing the application filed by advocates, that for the court to interfere, he must have shown that JSC, who is the employer, violated the Constitution. People have been charged for stealing phones and accessories valued at 11 million shillings.
Kenya President Nelson Havi had filed the case last month seeking to stop the interviews on several grounds. Among the reasons is that JSC violated the Constitution by allowing outgoing JSC commissioners to participate in the making of major decisions. He added that his mandate ceased following the election of Omwanza Ombati, who is expected to assume the office on May 14th. Another compelling reason to have the interviews stopped is the alleged conflict of the recruitment process. Harvey supported his argument, namely Adelaide Akongo, shortlisted for the interviews on 3rd April 2024, is Commissioner Njeru's partner and Njeru advocates. Justice Ongaya said Njeru is not barred by the Constitution from performing his work as a member of JSC in sunset days of his tenure. People have been charged for stealing phones and accessories valued at 11 million shillings. According to the prosecution, Medinim, Lea Njeru and Justice Waitende committed the offense between 5th and 6th of March 2024, located along Moi Avenue, Nairobi County. They denied the charges. Michael Mondiga.
Now, the suitability of ambassadorial nominee to Washington in the United States of America during his vetting by the National Assembly Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, the Nelson Koech-led committee at Kerich, the former Speaker of Baringo County Assembly, for allegedly being temperamental and lacking the emotional intelligence to handle such a sensitive race from EACC on his suitability. East African Community Secretary General Peter Mathuki, nominated to represent an easy ride as the committee steered clear of querying him on his tenure at the EAC Secretariat.
Vetting of persons nominated for appointment as ambassadors entered its second week Monday with 5 individuals. It was a bumpy ride for David Kiplagat Kerich, with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission informing the committee he had an active case against him. Koech allowed him to make his submission.
I would like to thank this committee for giving me this opportunity to appear before you. I know this is the time for research. You could be in your constituencies, but you've dedicated your time to serve this country.
Kenya nominated to serve in Rabat, Morocco. Former nominated MP Halima Yusuf Musheke nominated to serve at The Hague, Netherlands. Garissa nominated to Havana, Cuba.
Allow me to mention that at the moment, Morocco is bringing in phosphate and chemical fertilizer. And that is actually what has made it look a little bit, it's bringing more than we are taking there. For us, I think the only thing we are taking value is the coconut and vegetable fiber that they use for making fiber.
Once I get there, the first launch targeted marketing campaigns whereby I'll be able to showcase Kenya's opportunities to the Dutch.
Community Secretary General Peter Mathuki, nominated to head to Moscow, was next. The legislators, however, did not grill him or against him by members of the East African Legislative Assembly.
Where I am currently serving as the Secretary General of the community, I've given the commitment and I've given that, and I would want to assure you that the same passion and commitment I will put to serve this, I will put to ensure that we serve this country in any capacity that.
The committee is expected to retreat to compile its final report of the 27 nominees and table it. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
Well, that story brings us to our first break right here on Prime Edition. Stay with us.
KASNEB, your gateway to a world of possibilities. KASNEB offers world-class qualifications in accounting, investigations, management and governance, credit management, investment and financial analysis, and quality management. Visit www.kasneb.or.ke. KASNEB, shaping futures, transforming lives.
Game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Welcome to Sensei Institute. Mahali skills zangu ni pesa mkononi. At Sensei, skills is the definition. Accredited by the government and founded on a Christian background, as all-rounded programs that are tailor-made to enhance your skills and give you the future you desire. Interior design, fashion and design, hairdressing and beauty, hospitality courses, and defensive driving, building construction technology, CC, electrical installation, photography and video production, electronic courses, vehicle electronics and mechanic courses, mechanics, ICT, and many more. Many of our campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru, all you need is your national ID card. Mapema do advantage of our monthly intake. Come to kusort na skills. Sensei College, future.
Sinanoma, my guy.
There you are. Welcome. Our socials at KBC Channel 1. Our sign language interpreter, Susan Thuku. Moving on, the government has allocated funds to support engineering and mathematics, STEM if you like, research projects currently being undertaken by STEM students right across the country. Higher education principal Inyangala said that the move will ensure that students undertaking STEM subjects are well supported.
While officially opening the 60th Kenya Science and Engineering Fair at Moi Girls High School in Nairobi, Government has set up bodies that will spearhead STEM subjects in school and see to it that those students already understand.
The government's commitment is demonstrated through the funding of research. Our current research funding is at 0.8%. We are way ahead of most of our peers in Africa.
The emanating from STEM projects could boost the country's economy. This even as she called upon more partners to come on board and support learners and
some of these challenges have manifested in the form of climate change, food insecurity, disease, environmental pollution.
Science and mathematics, engineering and technology, let us understand, is just about being able to create, being innovative.
Visibility, so that we'll have a concert, an innovations concert, where His Excellency the President is able to see the innovations that our young scientists are able to showcase.
Prime Edition.
The Human Resources Management Professional Examination Board has called on institutions of higher learning to allow electives and transition to the curricula-based education and training, CBE, programs for their students. The board's acting CEO, Margaret, rapid changes in the business landscape require a proactive approach to education, focusing on practical skills. This and more in the news brief.
In a bid to help bridge the skills gap in the labor market, institutions have been urged to align their curriculum to the current trends. The Human Resource Management Professional HRM PEB has challenged the institutions to comply with the government directives and transit into the curriculum-based CBET programs for students.
We are leaving out for you the other over 400 courses, but for HR, the best choice would be CBET from HRMPEP for career progression in HR.
Meanwhile, police in Samburu have urged locals to report the incidences to the police. Samburu Police Commander Thomas Ototo says the allegations on torture and destruction of property cannot be acted upon if a legal report made.
Tunataka kwa dharura serikali isaidia watu kwa sababu hawana sahi kitu yote, wana chakula na watoto wadogo.
In Bungoma, sugarcane farmers on sugarcane to imported sugar by the government. The farmers say the reduction on prices of sugarcane from 6,000 shillings per 1,000 shillings has had a negative impact on them.
I think there was a permission which had been granted up to February, now June. And this allows cartels and other people to bring in sugar.
To a standstill in Kimandura, Limuru, after aggrieved locals blocked a section of the Nairobi-Nakuru highway, citing a contractor. The locals want the national government to pursue the contractor for neglect.
Hii maji yote wakati walipeleka ikaenda, tumepata huko baka huko chini, wazazi wetu wanajaribu kupanda mashamba zao, kupanda kila kitu kinabomolewa na maji.
China alipoa kazi kutengeneza, akafanya drainage ingia kwa barabara yetu. Watoto wakienda shule, lazima tubebe watoto kutoka huko chini tuwalete huku. Hata unaweza enda huko chini upate kaleka bridge tumetengeneza kwa watoto.
Irene Mchuma Odim, the Prime Edition.
Popularly known as Sirikal. That word comes from Sirikali, which is a Swahili word for government. He at some point turned government, believe it or not. And why did he do that? Because he did not want to lose political favors from his party leader, Amolo Odinga. This week, on the cabinet, we focus on Orwa Ojode.
Joshua Orwa Ojode was born on 29 December 1958. Ojode attended Ratanga Primary School 1966 to 1972 and Miranda School from 1973 to 1976. Of Arts in Environmental Studies and International Studies at Ramapo College of New Jersey between to 1991 after successfully serving as an assistant Walter Bailiff at the Ministry of War 1978 to 1981. He worked at Nile Investments Central Africa Limited from 1983 to 1980, Polypipes Limited from 1986 to 1987 as a marketing manager. He occasionally taught at Aquinas High School. He was first elected to Parliament in 1994 to represent Nthiwa constituency. As a member of Parliament, Ojode some issues and matters that he felt were getting in between politics and development in his native Luo land. Popularly known as Serikal, from the word Serikali, Swahili for government, owing to his strong support for the Grand Coalition government headed by President Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila Odinga, he was a assignments within the timelines according to legislative records on question and motions directed at the Ministry of Foreign, Education and Lands respectively, where he served diligently in a junior capacity. Rise of the Independence political party following President Moi's move to bypass presidential hopefuls, serving Vice President George Saitoti for the then Greenhorn Uhuru Kenyatta as the party's flag December 2002 elections. Not long after, the uprising erupted and which led to the formation of the National Rainbow Coalition. Sent Kanu packing during the December 2002 general election. In 2005, Kibaki dropped all dissenters and reappointed. Ojode was among the new team despite the fact that he had been among the heap that opposed the draft in the just concluded referendum. Kibaki appointed Orwa Ojode while dropping his regional kingpin Raila, hitherto Minister of Roads, Public Works and Housing. In solidarity with Raila and other members of the LDP brigade, Ojode turned down the offer. In 2000, he joined the Orange Democratic Movement. Years later, in 2008, Ojode but as Assistant Minister for Provincial Administration and Internal Security, Professor George Saito for Internal Security. Ojode, as it were, was among the first-line defenders of the Kibaki government. At the time of his appointment, the country was suffering the aftermath of the 2007-2008 post-election. The government was on the high alert to ensure the country remained peaceful and united in the face of the diverse ethnic communities. Ojode supported the setting up of a local tribunal to try the 2007 post-election violence suspects. Under Saitoti and Ojode's war, embarked on disrupting the Al-Shabaab through Operation Linda Nchi. On October 24, 2011, Kenya deployed to counter the Al-Shabaab militants. Ojode died in a helicopter crash on June 10th, 2020, at the age of 53 years, alongside his boss, Professor Saitoti, on their way to Nthiwa. At the time of his death, Ojode was basking in unmatched popularity, celebrating uninterrupted parliamentary representation of Nthiwa constituency. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.
Fighting illegal LPG gas cylinders to be fitted with tracking devices. Plus, Arsenal face Bayern Munich while Manchester City travel to Real Madrid in the Championships League quarterfinals Tuesday night.
Shambani Bili. Da 570 hash. Every 100 shillings unayotumia kwa Lucky Game inakupa 1 entry point ya kuingia kwenye drum ya kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi mbili. Mwisho wa April namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings na safi, na mwisho wa Mei namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings. Lori za mawe na hizi dial star 570 hash. Title deed ndio hii. Fuka na shake.
这条路最全被拆了，这不是意外，是想好的地方。还有木星身上的录音笔不见了，连清华地质系的研究报告。
是96年去 Tibo 考察人员档案。
那他现在查到什么地步了？
查到了清华大学。
Welcome to sitting in for Wairimu Njenga, who's a little bit under the weather. Get well soon. Manufacturers of cooking gas have until June gas cylinders with tracking devices in the renewed efforts to fight the trade of contraband liquefied petroleum. Our reporter Benson Rioba with the details.
It is estimated that 7 out of 10 in Kenya are illegally refilled. This is partly blamed on accidents involving cooking gas, which has seen the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority flag 54 cooking gas meeting the required standards, despite being licensed to operate.
Have re-evaluated 54 LPG sites out of the 138. These 54 sites were previously audited and found to be high risk or risky.
To step up the fight of cooking gas, proprietors have until June this year to fit liquefied petroleum devices.
To deploy advanced technology for monitoring and surveillance of the supply chain to help in early detection of illicit activities.
I think we can be able to clearly bring this menace of illicit trade to a minimal level.
Tender system is expected to be introduced from mid next year, once a common user facility that will help in enhancing is completed.
There's merit in centralizing the way we import LPG so that we can be able to account for data from the moment the LPG lands to the moment that LPG is.
Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority is backing plans to have demurrage cost absorbed by the party at fault and not transferred.
This is just a final stakeholder meeting to agree on the aspect of demurrage, who bears demurrage when a ship delays at moment.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Investors are being encouraged to set up factories and companies in rural areas. Why? To benefit. Investment, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano says that there are various untapped business potential in rural areas, mining and agriculture. Miano was speaking this morning ahead of the official launch of a clinker factory by Semtech Hills in West Pokot County.
There have been calls for import duty and levy exemptions to importers of goods that can be produced locally, which President William Ruto says is. President Ruto says the government is focusing its policies and strategy on encouraging increased local production.
It is not reasonable to provide duty and levy exemption to importers of goods that can be produced locally. Clinker, we will manufacture locally. Cement, we are not going to be importing cement, we are going to manufacture locally. We are not going to be importing steel, we will manufacture locally.
Speaking during the commissioning of Semtech Limited West Pokot County, the president urged local investors to embrace the most efficient technologies available.
Sasa tumetengeneza soko moja kubwa. We should be producing and exporting from Kenya.
Hii factory imefungua njia kwa investors wengine. Ni sehemu ambayo unayasegeza.
Devki Group of Companies Chairman Narendra Raval said during more than 4,000 people were employed.
We have adopted 4 schools surrounding ile iko karibu na hiyo, na sisi na kuishaanza feeding program, lazima watoto wote napata.
Ruto says local manufacturing of clinker and steel has saved Kenya $500 million in foreign exchange annually. For Prime Edition.
A business support center dubbed Karibu Business Support Center that will offer all government services required by investors will be launched next week. Investment and Trade Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano says that the center, which is part of efforts to ease the cost of doing business, will also handle complaints from.
It is estimated that 7 out of 10 cooking gas cylinders in illegally refilled. This is partly blamed on accidents involving cooking gas, which has seen the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority flag plants for not meeting the required standards, despite being licensed to operate.
Have re-evaluated 54 LPG sites out of the 1. These 54 sites were previously audited and found to be high risk or risky.
To step up the filling of cooking gas, proprietors have until June this year to fit liquefied petroleum gas cylinders with tracking devices.
Technology for monitoring and surveillance of the supply chain to help in early detection of illicit activities.
Different government can be able to clearly bring this menace of illicit trade to a minimal level.
In addition, it is expected to be introduced from mid-next year, once a common user facility that will help in enhancing tracking of LPG.
Merit in centralizing the way we import LPG so that we can be able to account for data from the moment the LPG lands to the moment that it's imported.
Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority is backing plans to have demurrage cost absorbed and not transferred to customers.
What remains is just a final stakeholder meeting to agree on the aspect of demurrage, who bears them.
Well, we're wrong clip. There seems to be a bit of some confusion in the back end. But let's take this next one. Pyrethrum Processing Company of Kenya has rolled out courage under Pyrethrum from the current 6,000 acres to 80,000 acres by the year 2028. Kenya Crop Production and Research Manager Caroline Mboya says that those are the plans. It's her potential to produce 20,000 metric tons of pyrethrum every year.
Pyrethrum production in Kenya peaked in 1993 at 18,000 tons harvested annually farmers that has dwindled to the current 500 metric tons. At the peak production, Kenya was supplying more than 70% of Pyrethrum world supplies. And under Pyrethrum from the current 6,000 acres to 80,000 acres by incentivizing the cash crop.
At its peak, we were able to realize 17 metric tons. Therefore, the potential exists. What needs to be done currently is to invest in high-quality planting materials, which are available.
Pyrethrum Processing Company of Kenya believes Kenya has potential to produce 20% of the cash crop annually that can earn 9 billion shillings in foreign exchange.
We also have come up with value-added products that we sell locally. We also sell in the regional markets, Ghana, Uganda, and Tanzania.
Farmers say among the challenges they face is accessing quality in season.
We liaise with our technical experts, our technical field officers that are located in all these zones, so that they will procure for you the right planting materials na seedlings. Huwa watu wanang'ang'ania. Ukitaka kupanda eka moja.
Ian Muse reporting for Prime Edition.
Well, we seem to have dropped the ball many times today. I understand even in sports, it's Bernard Okumu who will be taking charge and not current, as I had earlier reported. Well, that does it for the day's business.
Bonus, zidisha ushindi wako hadi asilimia bonus 1,000%. Kuwa mshindi, Mozartbet.
The 2024 Futsal Africa Cup of Nations is KBC is set to showcase the 7th edition that pits 8 nations, each gunning for the glory, from the 11th to 21st of April in Rabat. This tournament promises to be spectacle like no other. KBC, Channel Sports Partner.
Technology of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the change. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve with. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Sports News is brought to you by Mozartbet.
Yes, evening and welcome to Channel 1 Sports. I'm Bernard Okumu, and let's begin with encouraging news of cricket, where over 250 defeated from the Mboya Cricket Academy mentorship program, which is seeking to be bigger and better so as to reach more children.
The academy, which accommodates many young enthusiasts over the school holidays, Kenyan great Collins Mboya joined his brothers David and Kennedy on a full-time basis to provide the necessary skills for new beginnings for playing units in their endeavor to nurture more talents in the country. The Mboya Cricket Academy not only gives children but also facilitates their learning in a newly launched education and sports project they have undertaken in partnership with Amarem Safal Foundation. Conducted an ICC coaching course in Kilifi after similar courses in Kajiado and Nairobi, and plans to set a camp in Homa Bay soon.
If you're a good sportsman in the Mboya Cricket Academy, you get it by Mboya Cricket Academy Foundation, courtesy of we have partnered with MRM to see if a kid, if you're right, but we'll definitely give you a chance if you're dedicated in the sport.
One simple thing that I'll advise is that always them sky is the limit. You never know which sport you play, and you never know how sport can take you or can treat you in life.
For a more
And about 100 chess players will compete at the National Youth and Cadets Chess Championship set for 17th to 21st of this month. Round played over the weekend at Mangu High School in Kiambu County. Now the winners will represent Kenya in continental and world.
The 100 players were selected from the Youth Championship held at Mangu High School, Kiambu County, which attracted over 5,000 chess players from across the country. The under-12 had the highest entry with 748 participants, with Imani Mumbe and Christine Mugambi carrying the day. The under-14 Open Sylvia Abuto and Ethan Kahara had 658 players. Naomi Wamwenje and Rian Kanabar topped in the category, while Tadi Muyanze and Trevor Waweru won the under-10 category. Sharon Mudhoni and Gerald Kiplagat came first in the while Flinzy Imbosa and Samuel Obara triumphed in the under-18 years category. The winners at the national event will represent Kenya in its tournament, which will take place between the 25th to 29th of this month in Durrës, Albania, before the World Schools Tournament slated in Lima, Peru from 10th May. The players will also compete at the African Youth Chess Championships in Johannesburg, South Africa.
And to football, where Gor Mahia stretched their lead at the top of the FKF Premier League table to 8 points despite playing with Kakamega Homeboys over the weekend. Now Gor Mahia tops the table with 51 points, with Tusker and Bandari both tied on 43. Second place falling in third positions respectively.
Back to the FKF Premier this season after opening an 8-point gap at the top of the table. A goalless draw with 7th placed at 1 point to their tally, and with Tusker suffering a 3-2 loss to Kariobangi Sharks, Kogalo moved 8 points clear. Tusker remained with 43 points despite the loss and sitting above Bandari, who also have 43 points thanks to a better goal difference. Bandari suffered in the Stars but remained third, just a point above Kenya Police, who defeated Talanta 2-1 over the weekend. Posta Rangers position with 39 points after slumping to a 3-0 loss to Shabana FC, who was second from bottom with 21 points, just 4 points above Nzoia by Muranga Seal. Gor Mahia will head into the match day 26 against Nzoia this weekend. Bandari FC will Police FC will play KCB, while Tusker FC host Talanta FC. Faith Akinyi for Prime Edition.
Field where the first leg of the UEFA Champions League quarter-final gets underway tomorrow night as Arsenal face Bayern Munich at home, while Manchester City in what's proved to be a classic in recent years. It is the fourth time the two teams will meet in the knockout stages in the past 5 years, with the momentum ebbing and each time.
Ancelotti's 200th Champions League game as a coach as he looks to thrust his team past last year's winners. Stage meeting between City and Real in the past 5 years, which has proved to be a decisive fixture to the outcome of the tournament, as the game's winner went on to claim the title each time. Been a subpar year for them domestically, but you can never count them out on the European stage. Finals.
And to snooker now, where Mark Williams won his 26th ranking title following a vintage performance against Ronnie Sullivan in Manchester last night. Now the 49-year-old trailed 5-3 early on, but put in 2-century breaks and 3 half-centuries as he claimed 7 way to a convincing 10-5 victory. Williams has lost 22 of the previous 24 meetings with the 7-time world champion, but triumphed over all of the Sullivan, Judd Trump and Mark Allen to claim his second ranking title of the season.
that shot. He got down and hit it. Now Sullivan, dispirited, crestfallen.
And well, on that, we end tonight's edition of Sports. Thank you so much for watching. Back to Tom to bring the curtains down on tonight's edition of the program. Have a good night.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Well, thank you, Okumu, for that update. Well, we are just receiving some news that agreement has occurred at Kericho's Kwa Esta area. That's along the Kericho-Nakuru highway between a trailer and a saloon. Sadly, 6 people have been confirmed dead. And of course, the bodies are still lying. Those who perished are still lying at the accident scene, waiting to be picked, waiting for the police. Road accident has occurred at Kericho's Kwa Estate area. That's located along Kericho-Nakuru highway, and a saloon car, a Toyota Probox to be more specific. And we understand that the police are yet to arrive, carry the bodies away from that accident scene. Well, that's all we have to now. Thank you so much for staying with us for the last 1 hour or so. On behalf of the team, thank you for watching, and thanks to Susan Thuku for handling the sign language docket. From all of us here, it's good night. We'll see you tomorrow again. Bye-bye.
Your gateway to a world of possibilities. Visit www.or.ke and enroll today. KASNEB, shaping futures, transforming lives.
Kama skiza tune yako, bonyeza *812 *501#.
Kijana wana huzuni, amefadhaika yuhoi. Nikamuuliza kunani? Japo nimetia jitihada nyumba kwa mate, nikaongeza kumcha Mungu, sifanikiwi. Naishi kama lofa mlala hoi, kabwela wa madongo
kupata msubiri Mungu. Bonyeza *812 *501#. *812 *5.
Back to the future. The future is simulate. Bet smart. Faster now. Be a winner. Mozart Bet.
Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is Kenya's most trusted news. Grow your business, acquire more clients, and reach new, diverse audiences. We connect brands to audiences that matter, driving results for brands and enhancing your current marketing strategies. We have packages for all needs and no product. Contact us today and capitalize on our combined power of radio, TV, and digital platforms. Connecting Kenyans.
The 2024 futsal is here with us. KBC is set to showcase the 7th edition that pits 8 nations, each gunning for the glory. From 1st of April